snow. Snow, snow, snow. Perfect time to be out in the garden, right guys? So I wanted to actually make a video that wasn't in the dark and show you what I'm doing to prepare the beds for winter. So I've got leaves on top of cardboard, and this is the area where I have my experimental potatoes underneath there. But I wanted to tell you guys, last summer, when I didn't really know what I was doing, I experimented and I literally put a tarp down because we have clay, a lot of clay and rocks and stuff. I didn't think I could really grow in it. I couldn't till it up. I didn't know much about no-till gardening, and I experimented though, and I put cardboard down and I piled straw on it. It wasn't even old straw, it was new. And so I had this pretty high with straw on top of a tarp and on top of boxes, and believe it or not, I had potatoes growing all season, and I did get a harvest. I did sprinkle down a really cheap bag of Walmart topsoil in this area here, and I sprinkled one bag of the really cheap Walmart fertilizer stuff, but just so that there was something in there because the straw was so new, and it actually worked. So, you know, you don't have to have perfect soil. You can still try to grow things, and I just expanded things for next year. So if you get things ready now, then your soil will be ready for next season, and it's supposed to kind of like break up clay and have a good organic matter to plant in, and you got a lot of time for it to break down. So that is what I'm doing to prepare for next season. And then I have garlic that I put in the ground, I would say November maybe, and it is peeking up through. It started peeking up through, and I piled a bunch more leaves on it, and it's peeking up. It's even peeking up through that, so I hope it's going to be okay. I don't know. And then beside that, I have parsnip seeds, because I heard that you put them down in about the same time as you do the garlic, and then it comes up in the spring. I'm hoping that's true. So we're going to find out. And then this is my attempt. We had a bad storm and stuff's everywhere, but this is my attempt at my permaculture experiments, where I have really wet soil. So I dug a trench ditch thing and mounted the dirt up beside it, and actually it worked pretty good, because first, you know, there was mosquitoes and whatnot, but actually what happened is I gained a lot of frogs, which then were even as far over as over here with the potatoes. When I was harvesting potatoes, I found frogs amongst it, and that's wonderful. So what I did, I don't have the black cloth under this section. It's just piled up with cardboard and straw. Yeah, that's all that's there. It's old straw though. And I got a pretty good pile of straw on top of the mound of dirt there. And over here it gets really wet and it's all muddy all the time. I gotta figure something out. And then there's onions that are growing in there. They're probably not gonna make it. But they're giving a good Girl Scout try. So that is one thing you can do if you have a lot of water, to try to mitigate. Also, it's a good resource if you're out here and you need to water something, you can just dip in there and get it. But I still have a lot of runoff over there, you can see. So I've got to figure something out, because I have got a swamp. I'll show you. So you can see here, it is a icy swamp, I tried to do another ditch here, which I filled with the logs I showed you in the other video. I'm going to attempt to do mushrooms, and I have the logs in the water in this little trench. You can't really see them right now. This is my attempt at keeping a raccoon from harvesting carrots that are still growing, and that's pretty cool. Not the raccoons, but the carrots. So anyway, I need some tips on keeping the raccoons, possums, and skunks out. Under the straw is where the logs are, and you can see down here. So my plan is to let them soak over winter and then drill holes in them and try to do some mushrooms. And then this, where it got really wet, I just piled up with some wood, kind of hugelkultur, whatever, wood, and dirt and straw, compost, and whatnot there to build a semi-raised bed type structure. And I still have lettuce. I don't have much lettuce, and it looks like it's definitely dying, but there is some. I haven't been able to harvest any of it. It's so little, and I'm constructing something there, raised bed type of a thing. This gets so wet, I'm trying to just pile up stuff. I also have a little mole that comes around, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I haven't had much damage from him, if any at all, but definitely a lot of little mounds of hilly mess. Okay, let's see if I can do this. I'm in flip-flops. That's crazy. Anyway. Alright, and I still have celery over here that is not dead. I'm just going to let it go and see what happens. I brought most of my garden inside, and it would have done better, but I have some disability issues and medical issues, and I did not tend to it very well, and I'm not good with container gardening at all, so a lot of it is dying off, but I do have some things. So my strawberries, I covered them with some leaves, and they're doing fine, it looks like. So I wanted to just kind of show you some of the things I'm working on. I still need to try to figure out how to mitigate all this water without having just a yard full of ponds and ditches. But that's one of the things I've been looking into the permaculture aspect for, is to mitigate the animals and also try to make structures that keep them kind of like deterred, but also to find a way to deal with the ice, the water, the swamp. And so if you have any ideas, let me know. One thing I wanted to mention is now is like perfect time to, let me come over this way. Now is the perfect time to be thinking about pests and your birds and stuff that you don't want in your garden. And what I am trying, and it might be a good suggestion, is I am making a couple different areas that I know I'm not going to plant, or even if I do, it wouldn't bother me if the birds were there. So I'm making area where, I'll show you, a little bird bath with some seed. I set some crackers out that the birds will have a place that you're kind of training them where to go for the seed, so they leave your stuff alone. That's just an idea. And then I wanted to see if you guys want to look up different things about companion planting and the different pests that we'll encounter, and make a war plan for spring. And let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you want to do a seed exchange. And I guess that's it for today. Happy gardening, even in the snow. Bye, guys, and speak life.